Hey guys, Fusebox back on Raid Shadow Legends. Finally got time to play the game, and we're gonna get straight into Chani. So she's an interesting hero. Turns out she's really versatile and pretty good, but she's kind of good in some very specific spots. At least that's what I've come up with. I've kind of played with 3 different builds. So we're gonna show all 3 uses for her, and I'll do 2 builds because I used like 15 million silver trying to play around with her to see what's the best way to go. Let's look at her kit so we just get right into what she can do. She brings poison sensitivity. That's pretty solid. We can pair her up with a poisoner. You're thinking clan boss. So we're going to try out clan boss. She's got this increase. Now, this is an amazing ability. She increases her accuracy before and increases her attack before she takes her move. Then she attacks one enemy, and then she places an HP burn if it's critical. So we'll get to the critical part in a minute, but she buffs her accuracy. So you're going to get 50%. If you have 400 accuracy, you're going to get 200 more accuracy before she takes her turn. So remember that. That puts you at 600. Frost Spider is definitely incoming. Then she has this ability, which has a lot of people intrigued. So we're going to put it to the test, make sure it's worth using. And I definitely think it is. Attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance that books up to 80. And you can use the Sniper Mastery to make that 85% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs by 1 turn. Again, bosses, clan boss, definitely makes sense. We'll talk about how we can really make use of this. And first we'll test how often it procs, and then we will make good use of it with a different build. And then this is actually really interesting, okay? At first I thought it was pretty pointless, but it plays in pretty good. It increases her crit rate by 0.05%, very small fraction of a percentage, for every point of accuracy she has. But that adds up when you build her in an accuracy build. So my favorite use for her, you will want fairly high accuracy, which is not hard to obtain. 400 is not a hard number to get. I'm not in the accuracy chest or anything. We have perception gear giving us a ton. I believe I'm using Lore of Steel to get more. We're going to look at Masteries in a minute too, because this is not the way I would build her. We're going to swap them while we're here. But, you know, an accuracy banner, a Great Hall is, I think, maxed for them. But it's not that hard. Because you get to avoid a lot of crit rate, I was putting a lot of points into accuracy on my gear. So if you really break this down, remember, she's going to use this first, at least using the AI. So if you're looking for a lot of accuracy and want to see how much crit damage you're getting, remember that she will get 50% of her accuracy back. So let's call this 400. That's right where I'm at. I'm going to get 200 more accuracy when she uses her A2, and that will last until she comes back around. That means I've got 600 accuracy. So all you do is take 600, multiply that by 0.05, and you get 30. That's 30 extra accuracy, so I only need 70% crit rate. So I'm beyond crit capped for her. I definitely do not need this much crit rate on her. But what we're going to do first. So let's see what all these things. The first question, is she useful for damage? Is she useful for damage? Should you build her out for damage? So we're going to go with a, not a crazy build. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think she's worth putting in savage gear, any of that. But we are going to go with 4,000 attack, 250% crit damage. We're obviously going to be crit capped one way or another. And, the accuracy is there. Now, she is squishy, and we're going to talk about that later. But first, let's just do a damage test. I'll go into Dragon 20. Let's see what she looks like. And then we'll play at the boss just to see how her moves actually play out. Also, for this test, just for this test, this is not how I would build her. We're going to go ahead and take Sniper and Master Hexer, but I'm going into like a Helm Smasher build. So let's just so you know what we're working with while we're seeing can she hit. Okay, let's give her every advantage we can and see how hard she hits. We're going to break defense, put weaken on him, put up poisons, giving us more damage from him, increase attack, even though she can do that herself for herself. And we're going to increase our crit damage with him and just see what we can come up with on damage. We'll check all of her moves real quick, and that'll get us to the boss fairly quickly, I imagine. So let's just do this on manual and see how it plays out. Increase her attack, break their defense. Her numbers are good. I'll tell you, they're strong. She has strong hits. But let's go ahead and see. They definitely play out, I think, on the top end of strong. So let's increase our crit rate, and then we finally can. So we have a crit rate buff on us. So let's go ahead and use our AoE. See how it looks. We'll hit everybody for 70. I saw 90,000 where we had a proc, I guess, of Helm Smasher. That's for real solid damage. That's good damage. So let's just kind of play back around and look at her other abilities. We'll get to the boss and see how that plays out. Everything else, just a single target. So as long as we leave somebody alive here, we'll be okay. All right. Let's pick on Apothecary here. This is actually a pretty, I think it's her strongest ability. It's single target, but this is where she increases her attack, increases her accuracy, plants an HP burn, and hits for almost 200,000. Now that, to save us some time, that is actually a great single target nuke in the arena. Her AoE is okay. It's not really something you'd want to do in arena, but that actually will lay somebody down. If you're trying to take out a reviver and then let the rest of your team clean up, it does work. We might show it. Let's see how quickly we can get through all this. So let's just let this play now. We'll kind of watch her damage. She's right here, second from the right. Looks like we're getting the full setup again. So her A1 hits for almost 100,000. Like in a damage build, it does pretty good with only 4,000 attack. I think 4,100, about 250 crit damage. We've got a lot of buffs going on, so we're testing it. But now let's get to the boss and see. She's so squishy. I should have pointed out how low her defense and HP are, and that's going to be an issue. That's why I don't like this build. She is worth putting some damage into, though. That's what this test is about. She's worth putting some attack, some crit rate on, but she does a lot more than just that. So if we didn't have Lydia, we would still have poison sensitivity coming from our A1. We got a big hit on the dragon there, which is pretty nice. We have HP burn up from her. That's nice. And other than that, we're looking for debuff extension. So I think it'll be her next move. There we go. And we did increase the duration of all buffs. Definitely cool, right? That it lands more often than not at 85% chance with the mastery of sniper. It's definitely something you can count on most of the time. She doesn't let you down as much as Vizier does. Even though Vizier's better, she doesn't let you down as much as he does, like as often. So, I mean, yeah, she's certainly viable. Certainly viable. She's keeping those poisons up, keeping our defense down, our weaken up. A lot of this team is really fast, so we didn't really have an issue anyway. But she's fine for doing everything you want her to do. So check. She is worth building damage on. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the way I think I would build her, and then we're going to show a third way that I like using her. So let's go back to her build. She is super squishy. That's her issue. She's super squishy. Where's the blues? There she is. All right. I mean, look at this. Our total base. I mean, even with all this gear on her, she's got 24,000 HP. She's got, I even have a triple roll on my banner for defense percentage. I've got some defense flat stats glyphed up, and I'm still at 2,000 defense. So her accuracy is her thing, right? If you're going to use her in places like where we're fixing to take her, this is the way that I think she was intended to be used. High accuracy, not crazy high. Like if you want you need about 600 accuracy to take on the last stage of Frostbiter. If you want to plant an HP burn, somebody's going to need 600 accuracy. She can do that at 400 accuracy. That's a much easier and a more obtainable thing. But without wasting silver, I would build her more tanky. I give her a lot of HP, a lot of speed, a lot of defense. I wouldn't worry about her damage. I want that HP burn to land, and then I want her to extend it by coming back around and keeping that HP burn up. Because once it's on the spider, everybody else can finally land their abilities. And so let's just real quick show how amazing she is on the Frost Spider. Because if you're not bringing Lydia, I think the test I did, we're not going to run this whole fight. I'll come back at the boss. We may bring Lydia because we're not looking to kill the boss. I just want to show you how quickly you can get up an HP burn. And then if you had her moving fast and had her where she could survive, she'll keep that HP burn up, and including on the side adds. You want HP burn on the spiderlings because when they tick, it's just like when you fight the spider on regular dungeons, they do damage to the main spider. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the kind of team. Now, remember, we're still in that squishy build. We're just going to show real quick how amazing she is on it and then back out. I know she'll die. if we beat it, it won't be because of her. But I'll get you through these waves, and then we'll come back on the spider. I'll A1 so everybody's ready to go, and we'll see how quickly she can land HP burn, making your whole team actually able to land their debuffs. Okay, so the whole thing here is why do I have Drexthar? He's actually giving us more accuracy as a lead, but you want HP burn on the ads too. So when Drexthar comes up, the idea is to provoke those ads and let them hit him, so that we're getting extra HP burns. Her job is to get HP burn on this guy, and he is not easy to land an HP burn on. If you don't have 600 plus accuracy, it's really, really difficult. Maybe we can stun one of these. We stunned them both. All right, so here we go. This is her bread and butter. She can put the HP burn up by increasing her accuracy at 400 accuracy. And just like that, it's up. Then you go to extending it. As of right now, that means Drexthar could land his as well. So it makes this fight so much easier to get through. Just real quick, that's probably one of her best roles in this game, is getting in there and actually getting that HP burn up so that you can get the fight rolling. Quick tip while we're here, if you're playing this without Lydia and you're trying to do this and it's tough, you need 600 plus, maybe 650 accuracy. That's why she's able to do it at 400. We've got an aura of 70 accuracy with Drexthar. Drexthar could do it at, if he had about 550 accuracy, his aura would boost him up. But if you plant Leech on this left-hand spider, it'll stop putting up that increased attack, and that helps a lot too. Okay, so we're going to change her build, and we're going to change her masteries. The way I really think she should be ran, let's real quick reset this. Okay, in all reality, she does really shine on bosses. She's bringing that increased accuracy. She's guaranteeing that she's getting her crit. She's planning a HP burn, a poison sensitivity, and then increasing debuffs. So War Master makes the most sense, clearly, because that's what you're up against, people with giant pools of HP. So definitely, I like Cycle of Magic. You want to increase the duration as many times as you can. Lore of Steel and accuracy, because that's what she's built around. Certainly want Sniper. Increase that from 80 to 85% chance of increasing the duration of debuffs, and her debuffs give them a chance for Master Hexer. Try to get them to land a little longer. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to real quick see if I can get her in reflex gear. And the idea is we'll go up on the clan boss, not with a tuned team, but it should be fine. We'll go up on the clan boss, and with reflex gear, she'll use her A1 putting up poison sensitivity, meaning we can bring another poisoner without poison sensitivity. We're going to ignore this. We can build her with 230 accuracy. Matter of fact, if we use this, we could build her with about 150 accuracy and still beat the clan boss. But I want to turn this off. The reason being is I want her to have reflex gear on and then only be resetting this cooldown. It's already on a 3-turn cooldown, so there's going to be a lot of chances to proc, and this will be the only cooldown that gets reset, meaning that we're increasing the duration of those poison sensitivity again. And then when she's not doing that, she's making sure poison sensitivity is up. So let me see if I can find enough gear with my 3 million silver and try to get it on her, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm not going to roll this all up. It actually, I found she's pretty much crit capped anyway, but we're not increasing her accuracy, so that's fine. You wouldn't need that much. You could just do your math times 0.05 and see how much crit rate you're getting. But I mean, if I rolled it up, we'd have a lot more survivability. I'm not going to roll it up. All we want to do is see if we can put on some decently strong reflex gear, see if we're getting decent damage, and see if we're keeping the debuffs extended. So let me go set up a team, just a straight up team that can keep her alive long enough to watch this work, and then we'll get into the clan boss. You remember when they told us that we were going to get more teams we could do? I'm ready for that. Let me real quick make a team. Well, basically, let's figure this out. We want defense, so she stays alive. A good defensive aura, ally protection. We need poisons to see if we can extend those poisons. We need Chani to do that job. So where is blue Chani? We're going to want to stay alive. Brogni could do that. And then probably want defense down and weaken. We're going to do this instead of Rosin. We're going to go ahead and bring the strengthen buff. That's going to help us out, speed us up a little bit. So we're going to set this team up now. And the only thing we're going to do is go to Chani, turn off Soulfire. Yeah, I mean, I know HP burn's great to bring, but we want to turn this off so that she's always cooling down her extension, and she's in reflex gear. Hopefully this will play out. Save this, click it, and we're on Ultra Nightmare. Again, it's not going to last like a ton of rounds, but it should last long enough to see what's going to happen with debuff extension. And that's really what we're wanting to see. Can she pull this off? And I think she's like 165 speed right now. So it'll be impressive if she can pull it off. So Chani's on the far left. We just extended debuffs right there. Excellent. That was poison sensitivity from Lydia, but she should plan it next time. And we're looking to see if we decrease the cooldown. We didn't that time. But every time we decrease that cooldown, we're going to get back to extending those debuffs quicker. So it should start to play out after a few rounds anyway.
Ain't scared of nothing, I was born in hell. We got the heat, the sinners, and the devil as well. And this kind of town, it just fans the flame. It don't mean nothing unless the world knows your name. And my friend plays a mean guitar. He writes the riffs and I sing the bars. And we practice in abandoned railroad cars. We sound like trash but think we're superstars. We were just young, dreaming the dream, and trying to make our name up on that local scene. Till late one night when my friend left town, and I started hearing music without the sound. I'm saving money, working the drive-thru, singing through the speaker, will that be all for you? Cashed it in and I bought that ride. Just a pen, a paper, and my girl at my side said, to find it, but every curtain got a ghost behind it. I hear the voice of my grandma saying, go, but son, if you make it, don't forget about home. I'm getting high, getting drunk every weekend. Behind my girl's back, I've been sneaking. Hear the voice of my father saying, son, it don't mean shit unless you hit number one.
We're only getting 2 poisons up with this team every 3 turns. So it's clearly working out. Here I think we're gonna get it again. At that time she missed. There's that 15% shot, right? But she definitely can be a debuff extender. Better than I don't know, I think better than Bulwark. A better chance anyway. Hitting for 91,000 on her A1. I haven't even been paying attention to the damage on her A3 because I'm more worried about watching for that debuff extension. But let's see what it does when it comes back around. 76,000, and she's getting War Master procs while she does this, and she increased all the debuffs. She is absolutely solid on bosses. Any boss fight that's going to drag out, she can keep those debuffs up. And again, she's running slower than the clan boss. Now I have a speed buff up most of the time, so she should be catching up 1 for 1 with the clan boss, but that's about it. So you could easily make her go 4 to 3, and you'd be getting multiple extensions in every 3 round cycle of the clan boss. So she's solid here. I'm gonna let this just play out real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Alright, well, eventually it's going to fall apart, so we'll back out of here. I might have to back out and save my key. But she could clearly be an amazing part of a clan boss team. Let's just see how much damage this does to him with 160,000. Puts up HP burn with a War Master proc if it hits. It's hard to turn that big hit off. It is hard to turn that big hit off. If you've already got an HP burn, I probably would turn it off so that she's extending those debuffs, but that move is not bad either. And keeping a cycle of magic going with your reflex gear could bring both of those hits around. So either way, I think reflex gear in a healthy build that keeps her alive but still looking for some damage is probably the way to go in the end. She's pretty awesome, but I won't exit out of here. I'll do that behind the scenes. But I think Chani is a very solid debuff extender. She does bring that HP burn. She brings some pretty notable damage as well. I think that's where she's designed to be. Is either built out for, lapping the clan boss and getting the buff extension up, or for really, really high accuracy in a healthy build, and she can easily go in and take care of the frost spider for you. And just because the HP burn is so high there and the requirements of accuracy are so high, she makes that a much easier job. There are other heroes that can do it, but she can do it and with a lower crit build and still bring that damage. So she's a pretty solid champ and definitely could be used. I mean, if she's clearly in the faction wars, she could be good on the bosses. The boss fights, you could build her as a pseudo nuker to get through the waves if you don't have a lot of the Shadowkin faction yet. But in the end, I think she's made to be. I'd try to build her more survivable. I wouldn't do that damage build in the beginning. I would put on War Master. She's going to be pretty good on these bosses, but using her as an actual debuff extender seems to be one of the ways to go. All right, well, hey, she's cool. I'm glad I built her out. I don't regret her one bit. Thanks for sitting through it. If you've caught anything new with her, let me know. But that seems to be the two best ways to build her. Really high accuracy, fast, and I would actually try to add more survivability than damage. She still does good damage. Or putting her in a reflex set and letting her loose with or without that A2, because it's actually a really good hard-hitting move. Definitely a great addition for the epics in the game. Anyways, thanks for sitting through it, and until next time, enjoy the grind.